Yo, what is going on everyone? Back today with another video. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen I put a post up about I was doing a Q&A because I hit 100 subs last week or the weekend. I thought I'd do like a bit of a random video, so a Q&A just in case you wanted to know anything. So I'm basically just gonna be answering like quite common questions I get in the comments, or a couple of questions have been sent in to me, and just some other things I thought people might be interested in. I don't know. So yeah, thanks for all the support and everything as always. So yeah, hit 100 subs on the weekend. I said it in my last video, but yeah, thanks a lot to everyone who subscribed, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot. Thank you very much. So crack on. I don't really want to spend too much time doing this, waffling on. So my first kind of like some of them, as I said, some of them I've made up myself, some of them I've just got sent in, others are just questions that are common. So where do I live is kind of a question that comes up there, well, sort of, but I just thought you might be interested. So I'm obviously from the UK. I live in kind of near London. So yeah, if you wanted to know where I live, then I could live kind of around London. Yeah, not too far from there. So yeah, that's the first question. How old am I? I'm 17. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory question. Where do I thrift? That is probably the most common question that I get asked. Where do I thrift? So I've always said, like, I kind of just go to, whenever people message me and ask me or comment or whatever, I always say, you know, it's going to be different because of where I am. There's charity shops and stuff that are here but they're not where you are. So I always say, you know, I aim for charity shops and second-hand shops, and I want to get into car boot sales, like, or whatever in the summer, because obviously in the winter they're not as common, but I never really went much before, but now I'm into it. I kind of want to start going to some car boots, see if they're any good. I've heard really good things, and I've also heard really shit things, so I have to do it myself and see. I've been to a couple, but yeah, they're not like, so far my experiences haven't been great. So where do I thrift? Any charity shops in my area. So to give you some names: Sue Ryder, Thames Valley Hospice, Blood Foundation, YMCA, Cancer Research, Phyllis Tuckwell. There's some more, but I can't remember. And then just there's other independent ones that are kind of like hospices, or just other small charity shops. And the next question that I put is my favourite place to thrift, and my favourite places are usually the smaller places. So not always, but if you watch my first ever video, which was about, it was like getting £1 designer brands, I picked up so much stuff for £1. It was from like this tiny little shop that I stumbled upon on accident, which is I thought it was like fate, it must have been, but yeah. Favourite place to thrift? I prefer the smaller places, as I've said before, because, sorry about the beeping, hopefully that will go off in this, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I prefer the smaller places because I find some of the larger, like Thames Valley Hospice and stuff, they tend to price their stuff higher because, I don't know, they're trying to make their shops more like a boutique instead of like a charity shop, whereas some of the older ones that I go to have like £1 rails and stuff, which is pretty standard, so it's pretty dope. So yeah, favourite places, I prefer them, but I do find a lot of stuff at Sue Ryder, and I get discounts now, so yeah, whatever you want to take from that. Tips for beginners I've got here. So my tips for beginners, if you haven't seen my tips video, there was one a while ago that I done, like making money in the thrift or something like that. So just gonna go through this quick. My tips would be, learn what you can get for, you need to learn like prices and stuff on what you can get, and you need to learn like what you're actually going to find in the thrift shops and stuff. You need to be able to kind of on the spot legit check stuff, so like obviously you need to kind of know what to look for, so like dodgy labels and like dodgy materials and stuff like that, just to kind of, so you don't waste your money on something and then not actually be worth anything. And yeah, I'd say you've just got to be consistent really. So I haven't been going as much recently, and I've seen like a downfall in sales, but that's because recently I've been more careful about how I spend my money, because I've got a lot of inventory. I don't need to be buying loads and loads and loads of stuff all the time like I was before. But yeah, you know, just be careful with your money and just know what you can get for stuff and know how quick you can turn it around. Yeah, and that's all really, and just keep at it, I guess. Biggest thing I've learned from thrifting. So the biggest thing I've learned from thrifting, by this question I mean like from when I started to now, like what has changed in like pretty much what I've just been going through. So the biggest things are just like knowing I've learned like a lot of what stuff goes for now, and I've also learned like kind of like how much I need to spend on items, and I'm now a lot more careful with my money and don't just spend a lot of money on having stuff sitting around. So yeah, that is all really. Which YouTubers do I'm going to do which thrifting YouTubers do I watch, not generally, well, general YouTubers. So my favourite YouTuber at the moment is Callum Mogo. If you don't know who he is, then he is a bodybuilder. He's an Australian guy living in California, and yeah, his videos just dope. I just watch them. I don't really watch that much YouTube at the moment, just because I've had loads of schoolwork on, and I just like to sit and, well, I've got a lot of work to do, and I just chill sometimes at home. But instead of watching YouTube, I watch like TV or football or something like that. So thrifting YouTubers which I am subscribed to are Paul Cantu, obviously, Jacob Star when he does them. Who else? Anthony Alvarega, whatever his name is. So apologies. A the Barber, and who else do I watch? That's about it really. They're the ones I can remember. There probably are some more, but yeah, they're mainly the ones. But yeah, as I said, I haven't really been watching much YouTube, especially thrifting stuff recently. So yeah. What is the best item? These next two questions were sent in by a subscriber called Raynan_Young. If it's not going to focus, but yeah, I will maybe write it on the screen, or yeah, that doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, Ray, apologies if I said that wrong, but he asked, or she, I don't know if it's boy or girl, says, what is the best item I've found? So that's quite a hard one actually, because well, the two questions they asked were what's the best item I found and what is the most valuable item I found, and I think for me those two go hand in hand, just because a lot of what I'm doing is for like reselling and making money opposed to keeping it for myself. So best item I found, it's got to be the Ferrari jacket's got to be up there for sure. Y3 hoodie, Hermes tie, I can't really think actually, but yeah, I found a lot of really dope stuff. So yeah, kind of those two questions kind of tie in. So the most valuable item I found, well, so far is the Ferrari jacket, I guess. But then I made more profit on the Y3, so who knows? Yeah, but you know, whatever you describe as most valuable, I assume you mean like monetary value and stuff, but yeah, you know what, I'm just waffling now. So yeah, those two, thanks for those questions. What is the best, yeah, that's what I've just gone through. What items do I find most? I thought you might be interested to know what items I find most. So I see a lot in my charity shops, like a lot of Ralph Lauren polo shirts, a lot of, I don't know actually, yeah, Ralph Lauren polo shirts are kind of like the main one I find. I find like Tommy Hilfiger shirt, or Ralph Lauren, just like button-up shirts. I'm just trying to think, looking at my kind of collection, what I found a lot of, but yeah, a lot of Ralph Lauren, but a lot of the places are starting to price it really high, and I find that it doesn't sell that quick, so I don't really buy much of it. I've got a few polos and stuff, but yeah, Ralph Lauren is quite common. And then my next question that I've put underneath is what do I wish I find more of. So in America, obviously, I see like YouTubers and that, or even people I follow on Instagram, find all like the vintage starter gear, vintage like American sportwear, or like even Supreme and stuff. So yeah, I wish kind of I could find some of those cool items, like starter and stuff, instead of just finding the higher end fashion brands, because I think a lot of that stuff is a lot cooler, and I'd rather find that than like Ralph Lauren, if that makes sense. And then final question I've put down is how many items I have in my inventory, and I usually have, I don't know how many I have currently, I usually have about 70-80 items like just chilling, but then obviously stuff goes and stuff comes in, so yeah, probably about 80 I would say. Most of it's on my Depop, if not it's on my eBay. I sell stuff on different platforms depending on what I think's more suitable. So yeah, if you did have any more questions, let me know in the comments and I will try and answer them. This video has been a little bit random and I may have waffled on a little bit too long, but I thought, you know, if I do something different for 100 subs, and if there was any questions from you guys, then I would answer them. So I hope I've kind of answered most questions that were in comments or got sent in. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, guys, please leave a like. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time, guys. If you're new, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace, guys. Bye.